is going on back at Dave the Confused? It's Christmas time. Merry Creepmas, everybody. And as you can see from the title of this video, my cousin Jessii Vee is in this video doing another collab with me on our favorite non-Christmas, Christmas movies. These are basically movies that aren't 100% Christmas movies, but have a little bit of Christmas in them, and you'd most likely watch them around Christmas time. At least we do. And remember, before we get started, go check out our merch at teespring.com, the Confused Army store. Amazing merch. You should definitely go check it out. Amazing Christmas gifts. I'm just going to say it. Really good Christmas gifts. So one of the first movies for me that comes to mind when it's like Christmas is Gremlins. And now you're like, what do Gremlins have to do with Christmas? Absolutely nothing. Like nothing at all. But the first Gremlins movie was filmed during Christmas. And these little goblin-like creatures take over an entire town on like Christmas Eve. And they wrap themselves in Christmas lights and, dig in the snow. And it's just like, chaos ensues. They're eating Christmas candy and they're drinking and they're just like the most obnoxious, like humanoid creatures of all time, which makes them so hilarious and funny. But I think because this movie takes place during Christmas, I've always had this kind of little inner feeling when I watch it that this is a Christmas movie for me. And Buddy, who gets rid of the gremlins, saves Christmas. So I definitely suggest checking out Gremlins this season. And if you're feeling up to it, Gremlins 2, maybe not as good as the first one, but just wackier, just crazier. You gotta see it at least once. My second movie that me and my buddy Kyle over on my other channel, Wreck All the Things, we've basically vowed to each other that every year around Christmas we would both watch Krampus. Now, the legend of Krampus is like St. Nicholas's dark shadow who's like a demon. And instead of, Santa giving presents to the good kids and giving coal to the naughty, Krampus just kidnaps the naughty kids and beats them with sticks and all that craziness. Well, the movie Krampus that came out a few years ago is so corny and cheesy, it kind of makes you feel like you're watching like a horror movie from the 90s or even the 80s. The acting in it is so funny, but the characters that come with Krampus and the way they design Krampus in the movie, it's just really well done for like a comedy horror. It's just so well done. And the overall meaning that the movie has kind of makes you think about the holidays in a different way. So to me, it's more of a Christmas movie than a horror movie, believe that or not. But it is something that I try to watch every year. Now, I know her as my cousin, you know her as the queen of YouTube. Jessii Vee has her picks for the best non-Christmas Christmas movies that she watches every year around Christmas.
Hey guys, it's Jessii Vee, and today Dave has asked me to compile a list of Christmas movies that aren't really Christmas movies. They're like non-Christmas movies, but they take place on Christmas. Does that make sense? And the very first one that I thought of was actually Edward Scissorhands. This is a Tim Burton movie that came out in 1990. It's honestly one of my favorites, and I just generally love what Tim Burton directs. It's about a scientist who builds this animated human that is named Edward, but the scientist dies before he can put Edward's hands onto him, so he ends up having scissors for hands. Because of this, everyone is afraid of him. He lives by himself, and eventually he's taken into the town where people have to kind of get used to him. They're pretty intrigued by him, to be honest. He ends up falling in love with this girl named Kim, and her boyfriend is not okay with that. And during the main fight scene of this movie, it takes place on Christmas. So I usually watch this film around like winter time or Christmas time, even though technically it's really not a Christmas movie. It's not about Christmas. But the main portion of the film takes place on Christmas, so it's just a really good non-Christmas movie to watch. The next non-Christmas movie on my list that I have is The Shining. This came out in 1980. It's such a good horror film. This is definitely in like my top 20 horror films of all time. It's about this man named Jack Torrance who takes his family to the Overlook Hotel. He's gonna be the caretaker there for the winter break, and he hopes he can be there and it cures his writer's block so he can write his newest novel. But he starts starts going a little bit crazy. If you guys have seen this film, which I'm sure you have, the hotel is filled with ghosts. Jack starts losing his mind, like I said. You have the iconic axe to the door scene, and this whole movie is taking place in the middle of winter, over winter break, while people are having their Christmas. So while it's not directly a Christmas movie, and there's not even really much talk of Christmas at all, I just always associate this movie with winter and Christmas. Next, we have another horror movie called P2. This came out in 2007, and this whole entire movie takes place on Christmas Eve, but it's not really relevant to the story. This woman is working late on Christmas Eve, and when she finally decides to leave, she goes down to the parking garage, but her car won't start, and she suddenly sees this security guard who offers to help her, but this security guard is not who he seems. He ends up being this psychopath who is obsessed with her, and it's sort of like a cat and mouse story the whole time. It's really suspenseful. She's trying to escape this parking garage. She wants to get home for Christmas. It's really, really intense. So if you like watching horror movies around Christmas, definitely check it out. But the thing is, you can watch this any time of year because it's not exactly a Christmas movie. And lastly, I have a question for you guys that I want you to comment down below because this next movie is so controversial. It is The Nightmare Before Christmas. Everyone always argues about whether it is a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie. To me personally, I always think it's a Halloween movie because it is about a place called Halloween Town. It's all about monsters. It is sort of more of a horror film by Tim Burton. So I never really think about it being a Christmas movie, even though there are some aspects. Obviously, he goes to the Christmas land, there is Santa involved, but to me, it's not really a Christmas movie. So please comment down below which one you think it is. I know it is very controversial. Either way, I love this film so much. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening to my top movie picks of non-Christmas Christmas movies. I can't wait to hear Dave's choices. And yeah, have a good rest of your day. I will see you guys very soon. Bye!
Now, I totally agree with Nightmare Before Christmas. I believe it to be more of a Halloween movie. That's primarily when I watch it, is around Halloween. And this year, my son got super into that movie and was obsessed with Jack Skellington. And we had to blow up Jack Skellington in front of our yard for Halloween decorations. And he was obsessed with it. And now that Christmas is up, we have a blow up Jack Skellington in a Santa suit, and he's just as obsessed with that. So I guess it could be a Christmas movie as well. What are your thoughts? Leave in the comments below whether you watch Nightmare Before Christmas at Halloween or Christmas, or both. And my last pick for non-Christmas Christmas movie is Batman Returns. This is not only like a Christmas movie for me, but it's one of my all-time favorite movies. And it's, you know, Michael Keaton as Batman, and it takes place during Christmas, and it's got Penguin and Catwoman and, you know, Harvey Dent, and it's just an overall really good superhero movie. It's by Tim Burton. It's darker, it's grittier, and it was like basically my first crush ever when I was like 10 or 11 or something, was Michelle Pfeiffer from this movie. So I'm never gonna forget that, and I'm never gonna not see this as a Christmas movie. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Jess, for coming in and giving your 2 cents on this subject. I love it when I do videos with Jess, because I know you guys love it when I do videos with Jess. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good holiday, whatever you're celebrating. Have a good holiday. And if you're not celebrating anything, just have a good December. Have a good, you know, winter season, because everybody deserves a little bit of a break right now, and everybody deserves happiness and positivity right now. So please keep that in mind. I love you all. Thank you, Confused Army. I'm Dave, still confused, and at least our dogs aren't werewolves. Peace.